Keep it going.
So what about the Purge, Anarchy?
Oh yeah. I liked it a lot.
I liked it better than the first one.
Yeah. So in case you didn't see the first one, do you want to sum up the plot or should I?
I don't remember a lot of the first one. But you go ahead.
Well, I mean, I think both movies start the same way with this sort of crawl of let's explain how this is a decade, in the future. And apparently something's gone wrong to where, a new government sort of has been ushered in to deal with societal problems or been created, and they're called the New Founding Fathers. And they created an interesting little way to sort of deal with crime and maybe other societal ills. So the crawl, when you see the thing at the beginning, it says that crime is down a lot and unemployment's at like 5%. I'm like, well, we're at 6% now, or something. I don't know if we need to. Anyway, so they came up with this concept called the Purge, and one night a year, all crime is legal. You can have certain kinds of guns, class 4, up to class 4 level weapons or whatever, and so you can go around killing people and rob. That's the thing. They mostly show the killing. You see kind of an attempted rape in this one, but you don't see people trying to break into. I want some money. Anyway, mostly violence. And so with this one, the first one was like a home invasion movie. It was sort of dealing with what if one family who's battened down, and some people just hide for the night. They close their doors, lock everything up, and get reinforced security systems. But so that family had to deal with people breaking in and that kind of thing. With this one, it's more like, let's show what it's like if you're caught out, in the streets or whatever when the purge is going on and you don't want to participate. Although we have this one character who's not named until the end. I think in the credits they just list him as the sergeant or sergeant. I never heard his name before the end. Somebody just starts calling him sergeant. But his mission, he wants to avenge a dead child, and we don't figure out until the end. I won't say how the child died, but it's pretty clear early on that that's what he's doing, avenging a dead child. Although he doesn't tell anybody about it. I got something to do here.
Yeah.
But of course, as he's going on his mission of vengeance, he's ultimately a good guy. So he wants to, when he sees people in jeopardy, he tries to help them, and then things get crazy.
Yeah.
So did you have any complaints about it? Did you see any downside to it, or was it just total thumbs up, or best movie of the year?
Best movie of the year. I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, I wasn't going in looking for any kind of profound awakening or anything. I've seen it reviewed and criticized, I guess, just for being violence for the sake of violence and not a huge point to it, I guess they were saying.
Well, see, that's where I have a problem with it doesn't have a fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But it's not horrible. It's something like 53%. And I did think it had a point. And some of them did mention that there was in it. They thought, some of me they criticized that they thought it had a point, but it got lost in all the gratuitous violence, whatever. But it really, to me, what you see is that there's kind of this nefarious plot in the background that it's not just the game is kind of rigged even for people who are locked in and don't want to participate. Well, suddenly these paramilitary types start breaking into the place, and it's like you're poor, you can't protect yourself against that. You can't, you got maybe a gun and that's it. And then the one scene they see a stockbroker who's been strung up by apparently the poors, and it has a note on it saying he lost our pensions and now he's dead or something like that. So there was, and then to me the gun thing was sort of interesting. There's this one point where they have these rich people who have their own little game they play, kind of like they've created their own little live video game where you can have people to hunt or whatever. And she starts talking about this gun and almost like the person who's doing the auction or whatever the hell you call it. She starts talking about almost like orgasmic terms, kind of thing. I felt like there was kind of like maybe a middle finger to the NRA a bit with, although the good guys are using guns to fight back, so it's not a total repeal the Second Amendment. But I thought that, and then at the end they had this footage of some little kid shooting a gun. I don't know. I thought it was subtle, but I thought that was there. And then just to sort of, at the end, I don't want to blow it, but there's a guy who is not talked about in any of the commercials, but there's this sort of peripheral character who does turn up at a key point in the movie, played by the guy who played Omar in The Wire. Got a scar. I think it's Mackay Williamson or something. Anyway, he's sort of saying that basically, the purge is a government thing to sort of, the poor suffer the most from it, and it's only the wealthy who can be safe, and so it's a way of sort of just population control, and of course, let's just remove the lower rung of society. So I feel like there was a social issue to be dealt with, and we hear all these things about growing divisions between rich and poor in the old U.S. of A. So I feel like there was a kind of angry undertone, which I appreciated. Like